Welcome and hello. This is a tutorial video on the HEC-RAS controller. In this lesson, we're going to be talking about HEC-RAS controller events. Events are signals that something has happened and is a core concept in event-driven programming, where the flow of the program is determined by events rather than fixed sequence of instructions. So what we're going to be seeing in this lesson is the HEC-RAS controller events, and I'm going to show you how they work. What I have on the screen is a HEC-RAS model. So we're going to just go ahead and run the model real quick and show what sort of results we should expect when running the HEC-RAS event, specifically compute message event. There's three events that we have access to. They are compute complete, compute message event, and compute progress event. We'll talk about that in just a moment. So I'm going to go up to run and then unsteady flow analysis. So this right here is my model. It's set up. The details aren't too important, but I am going to click on compute and show the computation messages in this window right here are something that we have access to. We see them right here, but if we weren't actually running the HEC-RAS computation manually through the user interface, but we still want to have access to some of this text here, these messages, then we can access those messages in real time using the compute message event built within the HEC-RAS controller. Okay. So if you want to close that up, and if you want to view it later within the GUI, you can just go up to options and then this bottom option, view runtime messages. That should be the same text right there. So let's go ahead and use the HEC-RAS controller to grab this text. I'm going to close that up. I've got a Excel file already started here called controller.xlsm. I'm going to click on the developer tab and then click on Visual Basic. The first time you bring up Visual Basic, you'll probably just see what we see over here in the left panel where we have our worksheet 1. If you double click on that, you'll get the code window to write code for worksheet 1. We also have these two drop downs above the main code window, which are associated with the object and the event for that object. The left drop down here tells VBA which object you want to write code for. So if I select general, for instance, this is just for normal standalone procedures or functions that you write yourself, not tied to any specific event. If you select worksheet, for instance, this is for worksheet objects. Once you select an object, then you can select the specific event. So if I wanted the code in this function right here to be tied to a specific event, I would click that and select activate before delete, before double click, and so on. So there's a lot of events depending on the object that you select. Next, I'm going to go to insert and then module. Now, if I select module right here, my only option is general. And then thirdly, if I click on option insert and then class module, here's my class module. And then my options include general or specific to the class. So if I select class, then the default events is initialize and terminate. I can also create my own HEC-RAS controller event within this class. Actually, first of all, I'm going to rename this class. So it's called class 1 right now. I'm going to change that to CLS RAS controller events 6.6. Okay, I happen to be using version 6.6, so that's what that is. Next, I'm going to type in at the very top of this. This is the class module now that I'm editing. I'm going to type in or paste in this line right here, public with events on as the HEC-RAS controller. After I do that, I should now have access to a HEC-RAS controller object. And when I do that, I should now have access to the three separate events that are built into the HEC-RAS controller class, which are compute complete, compute message event, and compute progress event. So compute progress event was the one that was selected, but I can select all three, and then the default code block will be provided. Let's see, message event. Okay. So I've got all three up here and ready to go. At the moment, none of them have any code written in them, so nothing will happen. And this event is not assigned to any particular object anyway. Okay. So they are private functions or private subroutines. That's good. And then we also have the specific parameter that's going to be passed to the event, which we can use for whatever purpose we want. If you want to see these three HEC-RAS controller events in the detail, go up to View and then Object Browser. And then for the filter, select your version of RAS and click on the HEC-RAS controller class and then it is right here, right 1, 2, and 3. These are the three events that are built into the HEC-RAS controller. You can maybe tell that the icon looks a little different. It looks like a lightning bolt instead of whatever this is. These are procedures, and then these three are events. So if you click on the event, then down here at the bottom, you can see it says compute complete, and then compute message event. That's going to return the event message, and then the progress event is going to return a single, which is a float data type. So let's go ahead and give this a shot. Let's just go ahead and run it. I'm going to double click on my module. I'm going to write my code in this module 1 and then paste in what I have prepared. So here's what it is. I'm going to create a subroutine called compute. It's going to open up the project and instantiate this HEC-RAS controller object. After that, I'm going to create an event handler and link it to the same controller. So on events is going to be a new instance of the class we just created, CLS RAS controller events 66. And then right here is where we're going to link it so that our HEC-RAS controller has access to the events that are in this class. And then you've probably seen this before. This is where we're going to run the compute. So the active plan in the project is going to run. I have blocking set to true, but that's true by default. And then when that's done, I'm going to close HEC-RAS. So there's really nothing too exciting right here. We're just opening up the project, we're running it, we're linking it to the events, and then we're running it, closing it. Now within the events, we want to modify the event code so that we can view the different runtime messages. So I'm going to double click on my class RAS controller events. And then for how about con underscore compute message event, what I'll do here is I'm going to take this event message that's passed to the event handler and then print that exact message to my worksheet 1, specifically row 5, column 7. Actually, I'm not sure if I want that or not. Let's see. Let's go ahead and put a button here, and then let's print it out in maybe row 3, column 5. Let's put the text print out right here. Let's put a button right here. So let me just change the coordinates here. Row 3 and column 5. Now let's go back to the Excel, right? I'm going to insert a button that will invoke the subroutine. So that's fine. Compute. Okay. Then I'll just give it a label. We'll say run. And then, yeah, 3, 5 is right here. So the text I would expect to print out right there. Let's move that over a little bit. Now, I'm not going to be creating text on each line. I probably should, because each new message is just going to print on top of each other in the same cell. So another way to take a look at the messages is to print it to the intermediate window right here. Debug.print message equals and then event message. So I'm going to control G to open up the intermediate window down here. I should see the printout. And yeah, let's go ahead and see if this works. So I need to close my HEC-RAS right now. Go ahead and save. Close that. Go ahead and save this as well. Pull this off to the side because we expect to see the text print out right in this cell as well as in the intermediate window. Okay, so clicking the run button, waiting a moment. Yeah, so we're getting some printout over here on the right. It says message equals. Well, let's see over here in the worksheet. Okay, process RAS steady. So yeah, we're getting process complete. I'm pretty sure that's the last message. It's the last message right here. So message equals process complete 17973X. That's the same message right here. As for the other two events, which is compute complete and compute progress events, the progress, I believe, returns a number between 0 and 1 to identify the percent of the progress complete. I wasn't able to get that to work, so if I do, I'll leave a comment or a follow-up video. And then same thing with the compute complete, but I was able to get the compute message event working as demonstrated here, and that may prove helpful to you in the future when you're running your HEC-RAS controller applications.